Actually, Felicia, I saw that you shared my page. What's going on, everybody? If you go on Facebook and find a live, you could share that on your page and actually create like a watch story for it if you want to do that. Rather than just share my page. I'm about to do a watch story right now. We are live. You know, I'm gonna tag you on it if it makes it a little easier for both of you guys. All right, so I just tagged both of you guys on the live video. And we got one person viewing. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Take this banner off so y'all can see me. Let's start. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's your boy Godsent in the building. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's midweek. Another week is almost gone by. I want to welcome you to Into the Lyrics. Into the Lyrics, that's the show that we have right now. Yeah, yes. We're here every Mondays, Wednesdays. This Friday we won't be here because I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna share a little bit of information later. There's a interesting feature that I have this coming Friday, so I look forward to that. I'm very excited. I have two amazing, phenomenal, talented, beautiful people that are featuring today. You know, First of all, I definitely want to bring on none other than Mr. Jersey Poetry Calendar, the man behind the Pulsar album, everything. We have James Ellerbe. I need like fake claps and stuff like that. There you go. There you go. Thank you, Chi-Chi.
Felicia, I said thanks.
What's going on, James?
Good.
How are you?
I'm definitely.
Man, welcome. Thank you for always being a dope supporter of the show. I mean, if there was one person that I could say has been consistently supporting, watching since we started Into the Lyrics, it's you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, bro.
You got a good show here, man.
So, secondly, my second. Man, I appreciate that. We just want to keep it going, you know, keep people home and keep people safe. But also it gives us a chance to slow down because, you know, when this wasn't going on, it's all about entertainment. It gives us a chance to slow down and actually talk, you know, pretty much. So this show not only gives us a chance to talk, but then a chance to break down some of the work by some of these artists. Secondly, the other guest that I have on today that I have the pleasure of having on the show is none other than Mrs. Let me get that straight, Felicia Greenwood, aka Felynz, aka Dope MC, aka Dope Poet, Talented. Now, I'm excited to have her on the show because many of the people in the poetry community, I don't feel enough of you guys have seen her work. So I'm excited to really share and go a little bit deeper into her work. What's going on, Felicia?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
And I forgot to say, and also, yeah, we're doing great. We're doing really great. She's also the wife of our in-house DJ, the official CryOut DJ, Mr. Skelly himself, the latest chef in town, you know, Ocho Rio's Kitchen, all that good stuff.
Yo, some of that rasta pasta and curry chicken and curry shrimp and all that.
Hey, yes, hey, thank you, Jesus. I thought you were speaking in tongues. I felt it in
My wife is Jamaican.
my belly.
Definitely relate to that.
Oh, your wife is Jamaican?
Yeah.
What's up? So how y'all doing?
Good.
And James, if you never tried that rasta pasta, you definitely need to. You know, pretty much. We had a special one that had it was shrimp. I mean, well, no, with what was it, babe? Salmon. Yeah, and that junk was rocking. I just want to take a second to give some shout outs to some people tuning in right now. Moikali, thank you for tuning in. I see you, sis. Taisha, thank you for tuning in. I see you. You know, pretty much. I'm trying to see who else we got coming on, but thank you guys for tuning in. We got about 8 people viewing so far, so we got a lot to discuss. So I don't want to delay. Like, we got a lot to discuss. I do not want to delay. And you know, I was trying to decide who I was gonna go first, and you know, it's always when I sit down and read the pieces. And you know what? I think this with Mr. J. This is very, what I would say, steamy and highly can be very emotional. But at the same time, you never know until you hear the story behind the pieces, the kind of emotions that they invoke and the kind of, you know, what they will bring out of the viewers, of those listening. So, but, you know, hopefully it doesn't really matter, to be honest. There's no right or wrong decision when it comes to this. But let's talk about dark matter. That's what the poem is, right?
Strange matter.
Interesting title. Before we go into dark matter, tell us, how have you been dealing with coronation?
It's definitely been a challenge, but what I'm discovering, or me and my wife are discovering, that this is the moment in time where you definitely got to get reconnected with God, and just to understand that no matter what circumstances you're going through, that He always has your back. And so that you have to hold on to, regardless of what you're going through. So it's definitely been, I would say, a spiritual growth for us. And also me tapping into my writing, you know, having a little bit more time to write more. So there'll be some future things coming out later on, you know, in regards to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're one of those that actually been writing, because I seen a lot of poets talking about, yeah, I know people like, you know, this is a great time to be productive, but I ain't do nothing but be lazy. You're not one of those.
Nah. Yeah, as well as working on future projects too as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, and you'll see when it comes out. So.
Okay, cool. I'm one of those. I'll be honest. I can't say I haven't been productive, but in terms of writing, I haven't done much writing. You know, and stuff like that. There's so many unfinished pieces that I feel like definitely needs to be worked on. But there's so much on my mind, so much that, you know, But I did do a lot of relaxing, chilling, spending time with my family, the baby, you know, pretty much, and stuff like that. Miss Felicia.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay if I call you Felicia, Felynz? Like, what?
Whichever. But my stage name is Felynz, so whichever you want to go by tonight, it's fine.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I think I kind of figure out how you got the name. I made the connection myself. I was like, oh, she deep. Like, you know, pretty much deep.
Well, to be honest, my husband gave me that name, Felynz. Like, I know you love cats, so you should be Felynz, but it's also like a play on word, you know, Felicia.
Oh, okay.
Like bars, you know.
Okay, I was hoping it was PG-13 because you know he's like he give you the name and you talking about cats and I'm like whoa.
Wrong kitty cat. But yeah. Yeah, that's how I got the name though.
Dope. So we're gonna get into Mr. Ellerbe's now. I saw you just sent this to me. Maybe we missed communicate. I was gonna have you just do the piece live. I didn't. James, are you prepared to do that? On your end.
Yeah, I'm always prepared to lie. I kind of wanted them to hear the track because the track,
the music,
yeah, everything is like entwined.
So you know what we'll do while we get you ready and we can queue up, everything that you have. I'll just switch things. Have Felicia jump on first, and then while we get the track ready, do you want to do that? If you really want to get them into the track, I was gonna have you go right now and start spitting.
What I just got to I just play it? I just play it, right?
Yeah, you just play it from your computer, and then that's all you got to do.
All right, cool. I already got it up here, so we can just.
Oh, okay. Look at you. See, you was ready.
I got to get this playing on this virtual platform, so we got to see. But we're gonna drop this like this.
And while he's bringing that up, again, if you're not connected with me, follow me on Instagram. Connect with me at Real Godsent. I'm trying to chop up some of these videos for those that are our Instagram users, so the artists can have the interview for their records. Connect with us. Stay on. Yeah. So, and I didn't talk about, if this is your first time viewing this, Into the Lyrics. It's what exactly the name says. This is where we sit down with artists, your favorite artists, to get into their lyrics, to actually sit down and discuss what's behind their music, what's behind their poetry, the stories that brought them to sit down to pick up that pen and say, I need to definitely put this pen to the paper. So this is Into the Lyrics. Welcome, and hope you guys tune in again. You ready with the track?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Somebody's listening to or watching this live. I'm gonna turn it down. I don't know which one. I can hear like a little feedback. If you use headphones or something.
Yeah, I'm
all right.
Are you ready? All right, this is Strange.
I'm ready. We ready. Dark Matter.
Strange Matter.
Oh, Strange Matter. I said Strange Matter. That's what
Strange Matter.
Totally jacked up.
What am I? I'm a lump of unruly particles that might exist, but currently not existing in our universe. I'm compressed to the point that I become something entirely different, something very strange. Strange matter. Why should it matter that we matter? Or is the matter at hand that one hand carries more privilege that the other hand doesn't? Strange matter. Something not normal. Something must be wrong with the world, for it's not normal. Or how else can someone gun another down unarmed with their palms stretched to the sky like they're trying to reach for God? Then you shouldn't find it odd that there's no God in someone's motive. Strange matter. I am the unidentifiable. These matters are strange. Under the same pressure, we never react the same. These are strange matters. Strange beings in a strange time. Strange way that we speak. The way that we rhyme. They are strange matter. That matter of fact. They serving our power. I'm fighting and giving back to the strange ones. Built to consume everything. But what they don't understand can make me seem a little strange. Strange matter. Should have been born blue. Should have been born with the acceptable hue. Maybe Sandra Bland should have held on to her temper long enough for her anger to temper. Maybe Eric Gardner should have garnered his sick and tired long enough to prevent his breath from expiring. You see, it's easier to place blame on a victim when they're no longer around to convict them. It's a broken system. It's designed to prevent from balancing the scales. We have become the product on sale. But why should all that matter?
I am the unidentified man. These matters are strange. Under the same pressure, we never react the same. These are strange matters. Strange beings in a strange time. Strange way that we speak. See the way that we rhyme. We are strange matter. That matter of fact. They siphon our power. I'm fighting and give it back to the strange ones. Built to consume everything. But what they don't understand can make me seem a little strange.
Strange matter. Scatter our human rights to the wind, till they're gone with the wind. Telling our queens, frankly, I don't give a damn. Am I not a man? Is she not a woman? Why can't you see our matter is not that strange? We have dreams. We're working hard to squeeze into the fabric of life. I want to be a husband to my wife. I want to know what it's like to truly be equal. Steeples are not high enough for our souls. The scrolls tell us likewise. Your lies can't hide the fact that our matter matters. You must accept that no exception to be ruled. To pool our resources to resort to something more resourceful is not acceptable. We can no longer plead to a creed that no longer matters. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that the evidence proves we never matter. We are too strange to matter, but our matter changes everything. We must exhaust everything until we matter. What's the matter with that? What's the matter with you? Is it strange to want to matter? Strange matter.
I am the unidentifiable. These matters are strange. Under the same pressure, we never react the same. These are strange matters. Strange beings in a strange time. Strange way that we speak. See the way that we rhyme. We are strange matter. That matter of fact. They siphon our power. I'm fighting and give it back to the strange ones. Built to consume everything. But what they don't understand can make me seem a little strange.
Strange matter will one day change into matter that matters. Lest you see the day when the strange matter becomes negatively charged, changing most of the matter into strange matter. Thus our strangeness will no longer matter.
I am the unidentifiable. These matters are strange. Under the same pressure, we never react the same. These are strange matters. Strange beings in a strange time. Strange way that we speak. See the way that we rhyme. We are strange matter. That matter of fact. They siphon our power. I'm fighting and give it back to the strange ones. Built to consume everything. But what they don't understand can make me seem a little strange.
Strange matter. Strange matter.
Woo! Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Strange matter. Like it's like, everything, including the track, gave me strange vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not your usual track.
Right.
Like, pretty much, and I don't know if that was intentional. Like, pretty much everything about it was strange. So like even the record itself, I could say is a strange matter.
Mm-hmm.
So like that seems like real deep. So I have this question.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to ask. So Felicia, I'm gonna ask you this too. Where were you physically, if you remember, physically when you worked on this piece or started working on this piece, and where were you mentally? Share with us.
This is a lot of people don't know this story, but this was during the time of when the Philando Castile murder happened, and that incident really shook me mentally, and even spiritually, it shook me, because here's a brother that was in his car with his fiance and his daughter, and he was shot while he was doing the right thing. He already stated to the police officer that he has a permit, a gun permit, and he was, he was beginning to, to give him that permit, and the officer shot him in front of his fiance, in front of his daughter, and it shook me because I'm like, our brothers are now dying in front of their loved ones, and I remember my wife calling me, and because she was so upset, because it hit home. That could have been me, and she was like, I can't believe this is happening. Why is this happening? And I didn't have an answer for her. I was so I was so shooken up. So I happened to be watching on the History Channel on the universe, the episode on the universe, and they were talking about this matter in this theoretical matter called strange matter, and and they were talking about how this matter, first of all, is theorized that it is the strongest matter in the universe, and that so strong that whatever matter comes in contact with it, it does two things. It either destroys it or it consumes it into itself to become itself. And like, that's kind of like us as a people. We're so influential. We're so powerful. Even we don't even recognize our own power, but we're the dominant, people on the planet. Everything has come from our people, from mathematics to science to spirituality. You name it, it came from our people, and we make the world go around. We make the world go around, and we have to get back to that realization. And I was like, that's the connection. That's what I need to say at this moment. I need to let people know, let our people know that who we are and that we are powerful. And when we put our minds and spirit together, we can overcome the situation.
Whew. Okay. I mean, you've answered my question. You've gone beyond. So pretty much gave us some summarization of the poem. I want to take a moment and shout out to some people that's tuning in. They've been on here for a while. Shout out to Treasure. I see Trini the Professor, Jason Glasgow tuning in. Deidre, I see you. Amira, I see you. Jerry Crawford, I see you. Candy Naomi, I see you. Selah Selects, I see you. Lorenzo Artist, thank you guys for tuning in. Please feel free to start a watch party or share this so we can definitely get more people in on the conversation, as well as feel free to ask questions and comments is welcomed. Anything that you want to say. I see all our hearts. Please keep shooting our hearts up. We definitely feel it. The artists definitely need to feel like it's never easy to sit up here and share yourself with others. So, in light of that, let's get into the lyrics, right? We're going to start. Let me bring up the lyrics. This is... Bam. There we go. So it's love. I think we need to zoom it in a little bit. All right. Strange matter. And, I have to apologize, and you allowed me to get away with this in the beginning. I was calling this black matter.
Yeah, strange matter. Shout out to Uninvited.
Strange matter.
I got to say this before we even get in. Shout out to Uninvited, who produced every track, including this track on the album. Shout out to I Am Omega, who actually recorded the album. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for them. I got to give them their props for that. So, but strange matter. Let's get into the lyrics.
All right, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Wait, what happened to the lyrics? It just disappeared. Right. Hold on.
They're not strange. They just disappear on people.
Strange lyrics for strange matter.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Everybody see the lyrics?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
There we go.
It says, and you know what? Pretty much. I always tell the other artists, since somebody told me a while back that sometimes they don't know. You'll feel free to chime in as a fellow artist as well. If you have something you want to drop and say, I know that's why I like having both on at the same time, both artists on, because we're artists, so we understand. I always like to hear the other perspective. If you have anything you want to add, all right.
Cool, man.
Cool. Says, what am I? I'm a lump of unruly particles that might exist, but currently not existing in our universe. I'm compressed to the point that I become something entirely different, something very strange. Talk to me, James. What are you saying to the people here?
Pretty much, I had to explain what strange matter is. And I had to do it in a way that kind of simplifies it, because it's a very complex theory. But basically, I'm saying it's unruly particles because it's a breakup of particles. I'm trying to make this simple as possible. But in a neutron star, a neutron star is formed when a star explodes or collapses into itself.
Come on, teach us.
When it collapses, two things can happen. Either it becomes a black hole, which is the most dominant force in the universe, period, or it becomes a neutron star. And neutron stars, they spin and they give off a pulse. That's where the title of my whole album comes from, Pulsar. Each track. But getting back to strange matter, so science basically theorized that, okay, what happens if particles are broken up beyond the point of it becoming a neutron star? Well, strange things start to happen. It becomes so dense and so strong, it becomes the dominant force or the dominant matter in the universe. Like so dominant that like I said, any matter that comes into existence, it either gets destroyed or it turns it into itself. But also, the only way you can get rid of it is to throw it into a black hole. So that's, I'm pretty much setting the stage. Okay, here's the definition of what strange matter is. It's theoretical. It's their answers to questions that they have. Well, what if this happens? So setting the stage, for the rest of the piece.
I mean, that's well explained. I can't do nothing but just move forward. Usually I have some comments. Felicia, you want to add anything? You good?
No, he explained it perfectly.
I mean, like, you know what? I might just have to let you just hold this show down by yourself.
Yeah. It's real, it's real complex, but
overall, pretty much. But overall, my understanding is you are comparing strange matter to us as African Americans,
as African people in the diaspora, African American, Jamaican, Haitian, whatever. If your derivative comes from,
okay,
that's
okay.
what I'm speaking.
And I mentioned that just so people can start to get a picture in the back of their mind as you are setting the stage. Like, pretty much when you start saying, I am a lump of unruly particles that might exist, but currently not existent in our universe. That's how so they can definitely connect with that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like we as a people are compressed to the point that we've become something entirely different, something very strange.
Mm-hmm. That the circumstances, the oppression that we feel,
very, very still something. Even huh?
wait,
Go
so
ahead.
you're breaking
You said
up.
something.
Oh, I said that the oppression that we feel as a people, it compresses us so much, but in that compression, something strange happens. In that struggle, something strange happens.
Something at this point that is can't be defined, is undefined. It can't be labeled. It's something that, and you know what? That makes sense because like many of the things that we deal with is because it's hard to understand what we've become.
Right.
Come on, brother. Woo. All right. All right. I'm gonna keep this going. Strange matter. Why should it matter? That matter at hand, that one hand carries more privilege that the other one hand doesn't.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I'm talking about
Strange the world, for it is not. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
For it's not normal, or how else can someone gun another down unarmed, with their palms stretched to the sky, like they're trying to reach for God? No God is strange. Let's break this for while I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
James.
So basically, I'm saying, why should it matter that we matter? You know, the question, the big thing that is going on right now is the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, why should it matter, playing on matter itself, why should it matter that we matter? And then I get into it. Or is the matter at hand that one hand carries more privilege, talking about white privilege, than the other?
Right.
And that's why it matters, because there's an unequal.
Continue reading, because there was a part that stood out to me that I definitely want to get into. Mm-hmm. He says something not normal, right?
Not normal.
The whole idea of one hand carries than the other hand, because technically, as humans, our hands work together, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. A balance. We're supposed to be balanced, as human beings, but there's not a balance. One hand is greater than the other. One hand is more privileged than the other. And you have this, and you clearly see that happening now with this whole coronavirus. We're being more affected
right,
any other people than any, because we're mostly the essential workers. And because that's most of the jobs that we have, due to this inequality. Like, we're seeing it clearly right in front of our eyes. And like I said, it's not normal. Something not normal.
Now here's where it's not normal. And then you said something is not normal, right? Something must be wrong with the world for it's not normal. I like that. And I want to jump on that, because if we're strange matter, not normal, in a world that's not normal, we belong here. Like, there's nobody else more fitting for here. In other words, that's just to speak to anybody that might in any way think of the fact that they are strange as some type of accident or as some type of purposeless life or being. It's the fact that you are a strange matter living in a strange world, nothing could be more perfect. Like this world is ours.
Sure.
Although those that may not seem so strange don't want you to know your power, or they don't want you to know what you're capable of, or they don't want you to know that this is your inheritance. They don't. That part right there stuck with me. He said something must be wrong with the world because nothing, for it is not normal.
And it's actually a double entendre, because you can look at it also from the other end, that something not normal. We're not considered normal, but we know we are normal because we're all part of the human family, right? So then something must be wrong with the world, not normal because its view of us as not normal. You see what I'm saying? So it's you take it from two different angles, and I did that purposely. And you'll see why when I get into the next.
That's good. That's good. Or how else can someone gun another down on with their palms stretched to the sky like they're trying to reach for God? Like they're trying to reach for God. Because interest in reality, I don't know if you realize it. It's like they're trying to reach for God, but in the same sense, it's also their fear. It's like two things going on at the same time. Is their fear of the devil that's standing in front of them.
Fear of that moment. And when you throw your hands up in praise, what are you doing? You're reaching for God.
Right. And isn't it just so like humans to reach for God when we're afraid of the devil?
Always. Yeah, always.
Like, or when we actually are backed up on the wall. I just find your choice of words very interesting, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. This is how I process. Like, it's crazy.
No, you're not. You're following me. I'm playing off being fearful at that moment, and you have a tendency to reach for God. And also, when you're praising God, you throw your hands up and you're reaching for God. You see what I'm saying? I'm playing off that. Both gestures, you're reaching for something beyond you to help you at that moment. Whether it be to give thanks because you realize what God has done in your life, or you need God to take you out of that situation at that moment. Either way, you're still reaching for God's presence. That's what I'm referring to.
That's good.
It said that you shouldn't find it odd that there is no God in someone's motives.
I like that.
Before we go, yeah.
Because that's what it is.
I'm gonna let you say what you need to say.
Go ahead, please.
No, I'm just saying, that's exactly what it is. Like, God is love, and that's what we'll talk about later on. But God is love, so enable for somebody to even take a life, they probably had no God in their motives. Like, they're not thinking about God, you know. So I love that, how he played on those words right there.
Thank you.
Very deep.
And you know, pretty much. And I also wanted to add to it to say, how often do people blame God for someone's actions, or like, you know, it could be someone that claims, you know, to be a representation of God that does something, but we blame God for something that someone does. And I love this line because it's a reminder that we shouldn't find it hard to not find God in people's motives. Is a reminder that people often act of their own volition.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
free will.
when it comes to them performing strange matters or treating people like a strange matter. Like, come on. I have a comment. Strange matter from Nakia Alexis. Hey, Nakia. Strange matter is a thought-provoking poem. Thanks for the invite, James Ellerbe. So let's go a little bit further down. All right. Is that it? Oh, okay. It should have been born blue, should have been born with the acceptable hue. Maybe Sandra Bland should have held on to her temper long enough for her anger to temper. Maybe Eric Garner should have garnered his sick and tired long enough to prevent his breath from expiring. You see, it's easier to place blame on the victim when they're no longer around to convict them. It's a broken system.
Wow.
This is a lot.
So
all right. James, your call, I'm gonna let you definitely go into it.
So basically, I'm saying, you know, strange matter should have been born blue, should have been born with the acceptable hue. In other words, you know, our rights are not protected. So maybe we should have been born a cop, right? Or should have been born with the acceptable hue, because that's the hue, what they say, the complexion for the protection. Those rights are protected if you're white. But if you're black, they're not. Should have been born blue, should have been born with the acceptable hue. And maybe Sandra Bland should have held on to her temper long enough for her anger to temper. To temper something, the temper has two definitions, right? Temper, if you temper steel, you put it in the fire again, and then you cool it, and then it becomes harder, right? But then the other definition is to neutralize, to you know, quail it, to if you're angry, you want to neutralize that anger. So what I'm saying is maybe Sandra Bland should have held on to her temper long enough for her anger to temper, because that's what people were saying. Like, oh, if she wasn't as angry, that outcome wouldn't have happened to her. And then I bring it to Eric Gardner. Maybe Eric Gardner should have garnered. When you garner something, that means you collect, you gather up. Gather up. Maybe he should have gathered up. You know, Eric Gardner should have been sick and tired long enough to prevent his breath from expiring, because he was mad. He had enough at that point. He was like, enough is enough. We're not going to do this today. You know, he was brought to the breaking point. And once again, you know, people were saying, oh, maybe he should have held on. Maybe she, you know, and then I'm saying otherwise, where it says maybe he should have garnered his sick and tired long enough to prevent his breath from expiring. You see, it's easier to place blame on the victim. That's the first thing they do in if you look at every shooting, every killing, they always put blame first on the victim. The victim is a problem. The victim was a criminal. Yeah. And that's what they constantly do. That's the formula. When in every police shooting, in every killing, blame the victim.
Right.
It's easy to place blame on the victim when they're no longer around to convict them.
I mean, that is straightforward. You know, I want to acknowledge Nakia Alexis. She said, "Blue are supposed to protect and serve. However, we're not a part of that mission statement."
Absolutely. I mean, we really get into that, but yeah, I mean, just watch the 13th. Just watch Ava DuVernay's The 13th. You'll, if you don't understand, you'll.
So it said covered. I'm trying to let you get your words out. Go ahead, bro.
Like, because she basically shows like where did the police system come from in the first place, and she traced it back to slavery. In order to round up runaway slaves, they had these officers that were assigned to round up slaves. So the whole, policing system is based off of slavery. And this is facts. You can look this up. This is not, this information is out there. Ava DuVernay did an excellent job in the 13th by, taking you where were our rights taken away, how it was systematically taken away. So just look at that, and I can't do any more justice than that sister did. So just check that out if you haven't.
You say it's a broken system. It's designed to prevent from balancing the scales. We have become the product on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Why? But why should all that matter? Strange matter.
Mm-hmm.
Strange matter.
Yeah, it's a broken system. Where we know the criminal system, the prison industrial complex is designed for them to make money off our lives, of locking us up. That's a fact. We know that. That's what the whole uproar was about with the Clintons, with the crime law. That law was designed to lock. It had nothing to do with drugs. It had nothing to do with the combat, the drug crisis at the time. That was designed to lock us up and to make money off of it. Because you track a lot of their investments tied into the Correction Criminal Agency, the CCA. And if you look up their stock right now, their stock is still well. So, and that's all in the 13th too. That's all in the 13th.
I mean, that's always painful to hear that. So pretty much, if we're living in a broken system, how do we survive?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Like, I'm asking you as the writer, you have any advice for us?
Well, we'll get to that. Hold that thought, because that I answer in the last few lines.
Okay.
Let's hold on to that.
Okay.
That's and that honestly, that question is why I wrote this poem, because it's all, we can talk about the problem, but we have to have some kind of solution. We have to have some kind of hope, or else, people would go crazy. Like when you think about all that we go through, we would literally go crazy, and some of us have. But as a people, but notice we're still here. We're still thriving. We're still, no matter how many of us get killed, no matter how many of us get locked up, we're still here as a people. And we must never forget that. There must be a reason to all that. So, but we'll get to
we're not just here. We're still strong, and pretty much as they've tried to destroy us, try to put an end to us, we're still here, and I would say stronger than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, and it goes back to that first line: when you put strange matter in a strange place, it will survive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man! All right, I'll say this. Let's get back into it. It says strange matter. Scatter our human rights to the wind till they're gone with the wind. Telling our queens, frankly, I don't give a damn. Am I not a man? Is she not a woman? Why can't you see our matter is not that strange? We have dreams. Well, let me stop at why can't you see our matter is not that strange?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I
This sounds like the battle that, again, this sounds like the battle that we go through.
You broke up.
Go ahead, James.
I couldn't hear you. You broke up for a second.
Felicia, you can hear me good? Everybody good?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, you were
Throw
breaking.
some hearts up if y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm good now. Okay, all right, good. I was saying that this sounds like the everyday battle of pretty much that we go through.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much this sounds, again, this is something relatable that I believe every child that they start to ask themselves this, especially exposed to every telling the queens, frankly, I don't give a damn. Am I not a man? Is she not a? Because at this point, with everything going on, you start to think less of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the goal. I think pretty much that's, if anything, that anybody is trying to do. That's what bullies. Pretty much they try to use their position or their height, their weight, whatever, to try to make you feel less of yourself.
Mm-hmm. And
so you forget that you come from kings, that you forget that you come from royalty. Like literally the last person that I have on this show was sharing a poem that was talking about talking about how royal we are and how much we don't carry ourselves royal because we've forgotten our value.
mm-hmm.
So
even
I feel like this part right here. Go ahead, James.
And even I don't know if you caught the reference, but if you go where it says scatter our human rights to the wind, like they're gone with the wind. Gone with the Wind is a movie.
Right.
And scatter our human rights to the wind means, just like they don't matter. And if you think about Gone with the Wind, the famous line, frankly, I don't give a damn. That's what he said to her character, right?
Oh,
it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like he doesn't value her at that point. So I'm playing off of that. I'm playing off the movie and how that's how they treat us. Like we're gone with the wind. Like our rights are gone with the wind.
Yeah. I also see it as like they treat us like we're not humans, like animals.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, why can't you see that we matter is not strange? Basically you're saying like, okay, we're trying to fight to show them that we belong here.
Mm-hmm.
Our blood is red like yours.
Mm-hmm.
We're human like you are. So why are we treated less than a dog? A dog gets treated better than us.
Mm-hmm. And in the line where I say, "Am I not a man?" Am I?
And I love.
That's a reference, actually. That's a reference to in the '60s that they used to protest, and they used to have signs that says, "Am I a man? Am I a man?" And that's what I wanted to capture that visualization. Even back then, we were asking the same question: Am I not a man? Is she not a woman? Why can't you see that our matter is not that strange? Like we want the same things you do. We don't want more. We just want equal. We just want to have the same rights and be able to be in, in certain neighborhoods and not feel like we're being kicked out of that neighborhood.
Man, comments again. I just want to chime in on some comments. Nakia Alexis said, I am glad you were able to come out. To Crystal. Marcy said, great definition of a bully. Nakia says she agrees. It's very disgusting how we are treated. Thank you guys. Please leave in comments. Please ask questions. If you have anywhere. I love how you ended this, and it's like it's a reminder. It's like we have dreams. Like if there was any way that you could prove.
Uh-oh, lost you there.
Yeah, he'll come back. But yeah, he's talking about the last line. Oh, here we go. It looks like he's coming back. Yeah, we have dreams. You know, we want it. We have dreams. We want to. We have dreams. We're trying to squeeze into the fabric of life. You know, we have dreams. We have goals. We want to be a part of society, but we're constantly being rejected. We're constantly being seen as less than. We're constantly being characterized as criminals. As you know, this is constantly being fed to us in the media. You know, you name it, television, you name it. We're constantly being seen as less than or second class citizens.
Right.
That's what I mean by that.
Constantly fighting, always.
Mm-hmm. And it's like fighting for something that should be naturally ours.
Mm-hmm.
Human right. It's human rights.
Right.
You know, like everyone should have this right. As long as you have breath, you should have these rights. You know, like, yeah, and this is our fight. This is our fight.
Right. That's just crazy that we have to fight for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't even fathom why we have to fight for that.
Yeah, yeah. But then the next line after that is, I want to be a husband to my wife. I want to know what it's like to truly be, you know, like me too. I want to be able to love my wife and be able to love my wife, not be away from my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have that right. I have that right to love, to be able to love. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I went into the next one. I don't know if you guys said.
Hey, I'm glad you guys were able to keep the conversation going. I had some connection issues. My laptop actually shut down, so I'm coming back up, and I'll be able to put the words back on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Get some feedback though.
Yeah. We'll get it, folks. You know, bear with us. There we go.
All right. Where did we stop? And one of me needs to go.
Yeah. I want to be a husband to my wife. We're at that line. Yeah, go. You got to keep going up.
Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
We start.
Yeah.
We have dreams. We're working hard to squeeze into the fabric of life.
Mm-hmm. I want
to be a husband to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what it's like to be truly equal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's playing off.
Steeples are not.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm listening, James. I was giving you a moment to chime in. I keep hearing you want to chime in. What's going on, Monique? Thank you for joining us. Go ahead. I keep hearing you want to chime in, so I want to make sure you're definitely able to do that.
Yeah. Where I said I want to know what it's like to truly be equal, because what is our Constitution? It's, we're supposed to have equal rights, right?
Right.
Equal, and that's what I'm referring to. I'm referring to our actual Constitution.
And then it says steeples are not high enough for our souls. The scrolls tells us otherwise. Your lies can't hide the fact that our matter matters. You must accept the exception to be ruled. To pull all our resources to resort to something more useful is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
We can no longer plead to a creed that no longer matters. We hold this truth to be evident, that the evidence proves we never matter. We matter, but our matter changes everything. We must exhaust everything until we matter. That's a lot, so we're going to take it slow.
Okay.
Right? That is definitely a lot. Steeples are high enough for our souls. Tell us that stanza, what you're telling us right there. Break that down for us.
Well, a steeple is the highest point of a church or a cathedral, like the spire. They call them spires. That spike at the top of the cathedral, or the spikes. So I'm saying it's not high enough for our souls. Scripturally, it tells us that a church, a building, is not high enough for our souls, because we know our souls go to God. So the highest of our souls is meeting God, basically. So, that's what I'm referring to. In other words, we, spiritually, we have this high, we are connected to God. We are connected to God. And that is the highest point you can be, period, in life, in everything. So, and that's,
and that is enough. And that is enough for you to matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have a comment here that I'm going to read. Marie said, one of the things we need to do as a race is to band together. If we join force as a black race around the globe, this will then together we can stand.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that input. I definitely agree with that. You must accept that there's no exception to be rude, to pull all our resources, to resort to something more resourceful is not acceptable. Mm-hmm. We can no longer place a creed that no longer matters. Is this a call?
That's to people. That's not a call to. It's a call.
Or cry.
It's a call to the very people that are present. So saying like let's take exception, like an exception. But in my instance, I'm saying an exception to be ruled. But the phrase is actually exception to the rule. What's an exception to the rule? Like something that we make right, or something that is normally excluded now included. Now I'm saying we're excluded, but you can't rule us. You can't rule, and you have to include us in the rule. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So and I'm just saying it in a different way. You shouldn't want to rule a people. You should want people to succeed. And there would be no need for an exception to the rule. You see? So that I'm playing with words, in that, in
There's
that
a lot of wordplay. It's like your favorite style of writing. There's a lot of and we hold this truth to be self-evident.
Mm-hmm. That's the
evidence proves we never matter. Now, right. And I'm assuming saying that I'm thinking of every case that you mentioned in the beginning Like in every case, the evidence of each case proved we never matter. If anybody was listening in the beginning, they're able to make that connection immediately. It's like it's a constant reminder when we look at the results of many of these cases that we never matter. At least to them, we are too strange to matter. And then it goes down and says, but our matter changes everything.
We know.
And we must exhaust everything until we matter. Now, I love that line, we must exhaust everything until we matter. Because it brings me, somebody said, please explain, we no longer plead to creed.
No longer matter. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, we no longer plead to a creed that no longer matters. Well, what's the creed? The creed is we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. We know
equal, right?
So we can no longer hold true to a creed that is a lie, because we're not equal. So we can't hold true. We can't hold true to that creed. We have to change it to something else because we're not equal. You know, that's what that's what our forefathers said. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, but we know that was never the case. You know, so
and you know what? And I see that more as the fact that you know, I don't look at it as literal as that. You said we can no longer plead to a creed. You know, I'm not thinking of the actual creed. I'm thinking of the creators of the creed as like we can no longer like look upon the white man to tell us that we matter. Like, you know, pretty much like we should no longer, like we can no longer continue to like look to them to tell, like we
matter.
We need to know that we matter for ourselves.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like, you know, pretty much it's like, you know, outside the case, outside of the court, there's a whole case that we as a people are pleading that we need you to tell us we matter by your actions. And I feel like that line is saying that we can no longer plead because we've seen the evidence time after time after time proving that they don't see us to matter.
Yeah, we have to first matter to ourselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, Marcy, I'll say don't look at, you know, because this said creed isn't religion, you know, pretty much poetry can sometimes definitely dig a little deeper and use comparisons and use things that may not be direct. It could be, it could not be, but it definitely says various things. It says the evidence proved that we never matter, and nobody can deny that. However, I like how we went on going down. Said, but our matter changes everything. What happened to us changed everything. We must exhaust everything until we matter. In other words, no longer pleading, we need to show them we matter.
Right.
And we must exhaust everything. In other words, we can't give up. I feel like it's a call to arms. Like, you know, literally. Like we must exhaust, use everything, all resources that we have, every access that we, every doctor degree that we just got this year, you know, pretty much everything that's coming into this community.
Everything. Financially, spiritually.
Because we're done pleading. We're done pleading. It's time for us to put ourselves in those positions. It's time for us to establish our own businesses. It's time to form our own circles. It's time to empower our own people and show them that we matter. We don't need to no longer plead.
Right.
Exactly.
I like that.
That's
This is the solution. This is the solution. We're at the solution now.
I love it.
Who? Now, It says, what's the matter with that? What's the matter with you? Is this strange to want to matter? Strange matter. Strange matter. Well, one day that matters.
Now let me pause you real quick. This is the warning. This is the warning.
Yes, go ahead, bro.
No, you can. I just wanted to throw that key out there. This is the warning. So we know the solution. Here's the warning to what will happen if this continues. And history always shows this to be true. So go ahead.
I would, I felt like, I don't know. It's one of those things that I felt like the movie was over when we got here. So I felt like the movie, in this case, the poem was done. And then there's more. It's like, what's the matter with that? Like, what made you add those additional lines? That I want to know that. Because
think about it.
You said, even when I listened to the track, right? He was like, we must exhaust everything until we matter. And there's a pause. So I want to know what made you, if there's any specific reason that made you want to continue and add those next lines.
Yeah, because it paints the picture of what I've been trying to say from the very beginning. Like, to want to matter is a natural thing. It's a natural human thing. We want to matter. And what's the matter with that? Like, the whole point of the poem is where we are normal, but you're trying to make us feel like we're not normal and that we don't matter. But the whole essence of the human experience is you want to matter. You want to be significant, So there's nothing wrong with that. So, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I got from it, brother. And I don't know if this is what you meant to do. I feel like you took it from you breaking down the story and saying why we should matter and what's happened. I feel like you took it to their living rooms right now, like with those lines. Like you made it personal. Like, what's the matter with what I just said? Like, now you're talking to those people that are not really helping the cause per se. Or people that are not passionate enough for the cause. Like, what's the matter with everything I just said right now? Matter of fact, what's the matter with you?
Right.
Why are you not as passionate as I am?
Right. Exactly.
Like, it's strange to want to matter. Don't you want to matter?
Right. Exactly. It's like, wake up. Like, you don't see what I see. You don't see that we're supposed to matter. You don't see that we're do this. That it's a call to action. Like, wake up, come on.
That's amazing.
And then you finish by letting them know that this hope, if there's one thing that brought us to this point as a people, is hope. And I love the hope that you leave on. You end this poem on the hope, letting people know, regardless of what happened, strange matter, which is us in this case, will one day change into matter that matters. That's that. I have a dream, and one day strange matter will one day change into matter that matters. And we as a people have to continue believing that. Because when you believe something, you continue to work towards it. The moment that you stop believing,
that's it. Game over.
That's when you lose. Regardless of what happens, regardless of how many more, unfortunately, hopefully not, may have to pass or be killed or be murdered. No matter how painful it is to experience, we cannot give up. We must continue to rise up. We must continue to fight. We must continue to believe, because somebody believed enough and fought enough so we could have as much as we have today.
Absolutely.
Amen. For real.
Yeah.
Strange matter. One day change into matter that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. No, well, go to the next line.
That's it. I mean,
Go to the next.
there's more.
There's more.
Yeah. This is a very crucial part.
Oh, wow.
Very crucial part.
I thought that was it. Lest you see today when the strange matter becomes negatively charged, changing most of the matter into strange matter, thus our strangeness, we no longer matter. Ooh! Okay. Okay.
So in other words,
Okay.
I took it right back to the very beginning where I explained what strange matter is. Remember, I said 2 outcomes happen when strange matter comes into contact with any other matter. It either destroys it or it consumes it and becomes itself. So it's basically saying you either go with the program or eventually the program will dictate you. So you either that's a warning. There's the warning right there. You can't continue to treat us like this. Eventually, every civilization falls. So
now this is a lot to put in one. Like, pretty much like I feel like we could definitely continue discussing this. We're like 15 minutes over time on Strander. And Felicia, I'll be honest with you, man. This topic is very sticky, and this is not it because Felicia's poem is going in the same direction.
Yeah.
They've never met each other. So you know what? I don't know. I think we're probably gonna get through as much as we can with Felicia. We might have to have a part 2 of this with you two, because I know definitely we won't be able to wrap up Felicia's piece in 45 minutes. But let's continue to have this conversation. Guys, you have just witnessed Mr. James C. Ellerbe, Strange Matter. This has been really, I hope somebody out there heard something that motivated them, that inspired them to not give up, to know that eventually your strange will no longer or will eventually matter. And that speaks to people in so many different circles. You can think about anything that people consider strange, right? As a believer, you can relate to that because some people consider you strange once they hear that you go to church. That list can go on. Although you have that's what's so amazing about poetry. Like we can talk about what you want, but somebody else can hear it and be sitting in the room and say, I'm God, and people think I'm strange. And this motivates me because the way you wrote it, that one day I will matter. It could be taken in so many different. So I thank you for your geniusness, for just putting those words together. It's been amazing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you sticking around with us, right? Because we're not done.
Yeah, of course. I want to hear sister's words.
but this is so tough. I'm so thirsty. I'm on my second bottle.
Yeah, I should have brought water too. Oh, I got some right here.
Look at that. We twinning. Water. Y'all are the first guests that I had on the show that we was all drinking water. People be up here sipping wine, sipping something else, getting lit, whatever. So water crew right here. I'm actually on the 30-day water challenge. Today's day 20.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to have sexy skin for the summer.
I need to be like you and stay on the water diet, but I've been drinking a lot of soda and all that stuff. Not good.
This is my first one. You know, this is my first one, and I truly enjoy it. I would say I miss the sweets a little bit, you know, pretty much. But it's a good habit to get you started in the right direction and make sure that, you know. And then when I go back, I feel like my interest in drinking anything else has gone down so much, like, you know, because I put myself on this path. So
Yeah,
I'm a heavy coffee drinker. I love coffee. It's been the hardest drink that I had to live without in this last 20 days. But me and my wife are motivating and pushing each other to get through it. We both doing the challenge. She started the challenge actually.
that's good. I know she got you in check. She got you in check, brother.
Whoa. Let's watch the words now. Okay, let's. I heard James. Am I not a man? Is she not a woman? Oh man. But Felicia, thank you for your patience. Did you enjoy Strange Matter?
What did I? That was so deep. And I had to look at like I heard the musical aspect of it, but I had to look at the lyrics to actually fully understand it.
Right. It's definitely a track that I designed for you to listen and really, because you're gonna get something like Godsent was saying, you're gonna get something different from it each time you listen to it. So that's what I designed it to do, to stir up questions, stir up, you know, emotions out of you. So
Right. I loved it. Definitely deep.
thank
And
you.
I love the play on words and everything. I saw something you said, the pool, about the resort. I got that drift right there. But that was dope.
Thank you.
Definitely appreciate it.
So now let's go into the other, I would say, strange matter, right? In this case, this is Felynz.
Yes, strange matter, definitely.
Let's get into this. So you have a poem titled "Dare to Love."
Yes, Dare to Love. I gotta show you the shirt.
Oh, you got a shirt to go with it.
Nice.
I actually didn't like
or just exclusively for you. And
No.
look like it got Jamaican colors on it. You know?
It's like the African pride type of colors. It's supposed to
be. Got you.
Yeah. So it's
Is that for sale?
It is. It's on www.onehumblybold, like the number one humblybold.com for the Humbly Bold collection that Miss Gina King Wilkins designed.
Love her. But shameless plug. There you go. There you go.
Actually, the poem, I didn't have a name for it. And then when she made the shirts, I was like, that's it. Dare to Love. Because that's what I'm into.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just tied it in, and also wearing her collection and everything like that to tie it in.
That's very dope. That's very dope. So Dare to Love. Let's get into this. You know what? There's something I forgot before we move on to that. James, could you share with us how we can follow you and find your album? And just share all those information before we go on to talk for her performance.
Yeah, just you could just Google my name, James C. Ellerbe. It's right on the screen, James C. Ellerbe. I'll put it in the comments too. .com. I'm on all digital platforms except for Spotify. I'm going to re-release it on Spotify, but all digital platforms: Apple Music, Tidal, Google Play, all that. YouTube, you can get it there too as well. But just, you know, you go to my website, it'll take you to all the links. So whatever your pleasure, I got you.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. My apologies that I forgot that. So on to you, Miss Felynz, Felicia.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do mine live. All right. So where are we safe? If we ain't safe at the movie theaters and we ain't safe at church, let alone the schools, then we ain't safe anywhere because you never know who gonna open, aim, and shoot. Could be the next Timothy McVeigh, James Holmes, Dylan Roof, Omar Mateen, Stephen Paddock, Adam Lander, or Nicholas Cruz. See, we could protest, we could riot about ending gun violence. They ain't listening though, they quiet. I don't see no silver lining because not much has changed between now and 50 years ago, because why is it we're still fighting the same battle Martin was fighting? Racism seems to be an ongoing crisis, but how can we fix it when we're supposed to stand united? A house against itself cannot stand because it will surely fall, build the walls that divide us. Then they try to define us, label us without reading the fine print that we are Black royalty. Instead, they take killers to Burger King and treat them like a highness. And it's crazy. They can kill dozens of people and still leave the scene without even dying. But if we're driving while Black and get pulled over for our taillight, we're the ones shot and murdered just for reaching for our license. Then they swear up and down that we weren't abiding or being compliant, like that justifies it. Then these white killer cops get off without being indicted. If you ask me, that's white privilege at its finest. See, my mission is to give them hope. Yeah, give them hope, just like Meek Mill. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's either kill or be killed. How many of my brothers and sisters' blood is gonna be spilled on the so-called land of the free? Let's just be real. Brock Turner, a white man, raped an unconscious woman behind a dumpster. But how ironic they will bring up his swimming stats. Yet promising NFL star Brian Banks falsely accused of rape, but because he was Black, they forced him to take a plea deal? Innocent Black man did 5 years, but guilty white man got 3 months for the same crime? How is that fair? Okay, see our point on why Black Lives Matter? Why Trump supporters scream out MAGA? It's 2020, nothing ain't changed, it's just not caught on camera. We need answers. Whoop, whoop. Cops pull me over, oh God, now I'm sweating bullets, reaching over for my driver's license. Thank God I'm gonna get a bullet. Judged by my skin tone, I rolled down the window, harassed by a racist white cop who's still living by that Jim Crow. He takes my license, walks away, pulls up my info, sees that I have no record, no points, clean as a whistle. See a few black heads wanna pop us like some pimples until we're just another hashtag, prepared to candlelight vigil. For peace sake, Marvin Gaye is probably turning in his grave. We still singing what's going on. There's a lot of snakes in the grass, a lot of dirt in the politics. We gotta mow the lawn. Since Trump ran for office, his presence exposed them all, like Barbecue Becky, Dog Park Debbie, or disgraceful actress Roseanne Barr. And then look at Jesse, who would have thought he would go as far as paying someone to beat him up and call him nigga and fag. We no longer claim him as Black. We had to revoke his card. We rather trade him for Jane Elliott or Gary Owen. See, they're invited to the cookout. We welcome them with open arms. All right, I'm just semi-joking, y'all. But tell me, how did the 16 felony count get mysteriously dropped and he's no longer guilty as charged? If you ask me, that whole story smelled a little fishy and raw. Yeah, okay. That nigga is OJ. He ain't the gay modern day pop, because he pulled a scene from Empire. He deserves a round of applause. Now that makes him one of 2 black men that has defeated the odds. All right, anyway, let's talk about these cops. One false move, pop, pop, guns going off. If we even breathe, y'all swear we provoking y'all. Your guns remind me of my bank account when bills are due. It's overdrawn. Y'all don't think before you act to follow proper protocol. I'm confused. So y'all can break the rules and then expect us to uphold the law? Well, that's the justice system for you. That's how you know it's flawed. It's like photography. They shoot us, they try to frame us, yet want us cropped out the picture like a random person that photobombed. Well, sorry to break the news, homie. This ain't Photoshop. Look at Alton Sterling. Someone called saying that they felt threatened, that the man at the mini mart selling CDs had a concealed weapon. Cops rolled up, ain't asked no questions, and within 2 seconds, had him on the ground, pinned down like a bowling ball. Then cop back at aim at close range, taking more shots than a drunk at an open bar. I'm so disgusted. See, I'm so appalled to see a son break down on the news. Really broke my heart. How does two white cops have him down? One had his arms and legs, the other had his knees and his head and chest, and say he had a gun and try to reach for it? How? He couldn't even move, so y'all know that's false because the whole thing was recorded and placed on the evening news. 2 days later, they murdered Fernando. Couple days after that, 50 people were killed in a gay nightclub out in Orlando. I couldn't find the words, like it was the game of Scrabble. I'm so sick and tired of the news, sounds like a bunch of babble. I just quickly changed the channel. So many people have died in vain. Eric Garner, Oscar Grant, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, Corinne Gaines, Terrence Crutcher, Jordan Davis, Christian Taylor, Freddie Gray. And let's not forget about Sean Bell, who was murdered on his wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
And this year marked the 8th anniversary of the murder of Trayvon. Yet racism don't exist, right? When it's right under your noses, but you decide to turn a blind eye like you're Ray Charles. See, they say black people stay complaining, always pulling out the race card. That's because you seem to be in the dark about it. And I'm here to shed some light on it like this is Africa and I'm Akon. See, we all need to be a light like Nipsey. See, I was summoned like a seance. See, the media, the government had us brainwashed. They spit on us and try to convince us that it's raindrops, but that ain't nothing new. Now, that's just America's true colors, like a box of crayons. See, racism is like a game of village. The cue ball, which is white, objective is to take out the colors and stripes because being black, they either are threatened by our future or they see no future in us like we are the magic 8 ball. See, Donald Trump ain't nothing but a modern day Adolf Hitler, a trust fund kid that made off like Bernard. I pray to God he don't get reelected. Because anytime he talks, I'll be like, please shut the heck up. You good for nothing, jerk off. First off, you ain't my president with your hair looking like you shaved underneath your balls and placed them on top of your head to hide the fact that you're bald. But that's off topic. One fist in the air to all my people that are fed up. It could have been our names written in the obituary section of the Star Ledger. They just want us dead, carried off by pallbearers, or serving time like liquor behind bars like a bartender. And then they wonder why black folks mad. It's because the more this crap happens, the more anger in our hearts fester. They justify the murders by looking up our records or digging up dirt like a pirate that found long lost treasure. But why dig so deep into the past but don't ever talk about our efforts or strives to get better? Instead, they bring to light our wrongs or broadcast our failures, then the headlines and make front page on the cable news network. So they can kill us and that's the way we're remembered? They point out the fact that we're criminals, but y'all ain't. How? When the whole thing was caught on video, don't act like y'all saints now. Where's the justice when my people are being brutally murdered? What is the verdict? Paid leave, a few months of community service? The problem is when there is black on black crime, there's justice involved. But if a police killed a black man, ain't no justice at all. They still go on charge using those same old BS excuses. Like, I fear for my life, man. I thought they were armed. How do you place those mentally unstable racist cops back on the job when their job is to serve and protect? Instead, see us as threats. So if we need help, then who do we call? Ghostbusters? See, if you're scared, you need to turn in your badges and uniform need to be hung up like we do when telemarketers call from an unknown number. See, I can go on and on about this all day, but at the end of the day, we can't stay bitter. So where do we begin? According to scripture, it says hate stirs up strife, but love covers up a multitude of sins. We know prayer changes things, so we should look to him. Don't worry about justice. They have their day coming. God said vengeance is his, and as long as there's sin, racism falls under the umbrella of hate. See, our job is to pray and let love be displayed. So let them call me nigga because my skin different. They can pull the trigger. I have a purpose and my mission won't be hindered. If God be for us, then who could be against us? We serve a God that's bigger. Just remember, as much as we hate to admit it, cops are people too. See, we all are sinners that are in need of forgiveness. So today, I challenge you to this. Do you dare to love? And I'm not stating the obvious because it's easy. Yeah, it's easy to love those that love you back. But what about loving those that hate and cringe at the sight that you're black? Would you dare to love?
Wow. Wow. I'm in. Snap, clap, whatever you got to do. That piece right there, man, is fire. That's number one. It's very loud. You have Mr. Wardell. It's very loud over there. It's a lot. James.
Yes.
I know it's a mouthful. I try to remember everything.
Woo. I'm impressed you can remember all that. That was fire though. Every point you made was pointed, and
Amira says she's stuck on the last line, deep in thought.
Yeah,
I actually have been paying attention to a lot of the comments on the watch party on my Facebook. So I just kind of want to, respond to them and kind of say, "What's up? I see you." This is going back to even when everything we're discussing. Selah Select said, "Knowledge of self is protection of self and encouragement to others." This poem is needed for such a time like this. Kendi said, "Amazing piece." Taisha said, "The real fear is us becoming so untied or so united that we won't need a government to control what belongs to us. It's coming." Mira said, "Why do we expect them to include us?" Angela said, "Take a knee."
Angela.
Amira said, "Our matter is strong. They are the strange."
Yeah.
She also said, "Get that revolution started." Angela said, "Yeah, we gonna take over."
That's my wife, I think. Yeah, that's Angela.
Yeah, that's definitely your wife. And then Waddell has something smart to say about my sexy skin for the summer. I'm not gonna read his comments. No, it's not allowed here. But back to Felicia. Uninvited said, "Fight the powers that be." Y'all know what Uninvited is about. But let's get into this lyrics. I mean, it's 7:36. I don't know how much of this we could get into. We're gonna have to have a part 2 because I want to get every one of those lyrics. Yeah. So let's start on this. Let's start on this. Where? Look at this. Look at this Negro.
Like, you would just pop me in the studio, bro. I could have been picking my nose.
Why would you come backstage if you're not ready? Then to stay in the bathroom or something, in the dining room or something. Like,
I could have possibly been trying to get my sexy skin together. Like, you over here, just popping me on
I don't see you drinking no water, Bop. All those chicken you been frying ain't gonna help you.
Whatever, okay?
Nakia Alexa said, "Wow, thanks for sharing that piece." Talking to you, Felicia. Nakia Alexa. Shelly said, "Snap, snap, 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 snap." Let's get into this piece. Really, as much as we can get into with the time, there's a lot of Waddell. Did you hear her spitting? Like, let's talk about the energy that she came with. Like,
I thought it was the CryOut cave.
Right.
I thought she was on the stage.
She was crying out.
Yeah,
right.
CryOut for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The heart was there, and I appreciate for you for not holding back just because we're home and everything like that. It means that this piece means something personal to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's
Pure passion. Pure passion.
Yeah, that's
So
I want to know how you remember all them words. I can't remember what I ate last night.
you know what?
Lord have mercy.
I don't even know myself. I always been gifted at remembering lyrics and musical notes and stuff like that. So I thank God. That's all God.
Because that was longer than the average poem.
Yeah,
You got you got some of these poets beat. Because you remember all of those words. I mean, shout out to you.
The YouTube is the video is on YouTube. You have a video for this, and that video is 10 about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. If you have time, definitely check it out.
Definitely check it out. Dear to Love by Felynz on Instagram. If you guys want to definitely see the visuals. First question: where were you physically and mentally when you worked on this piece? What brought you to sit down and say, I need to write this poem? Like, you know, again, I don't know. I've known you for a while, and this is, I don't know if you've written poems. This is the first poem I've heard from you. Like, you know, I know the Emcee Felicia, I know the Emcee Felynz, but this is the first poem that I've witnessed from you. So what made you sit down and say, you know what, I definitely need to deliver this in this manner? Talk to me.
Well, I wrote this probably about, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago, but it took me a while to write it, like a year and a half, because I was trying to make it into a song. I didn't know it was poetry at first, but I was trying to make it into a song that had a hook and everything. But I'm like, this is way too long for a song. So I asked God to give me, you know, a vision of what to make it. And he was like, you know, it's poetry. It's a spoken word. So as the plight kept happening, let's say like Trayvon Martin and stuff like that, stuff just kept happening, you know, to our people. And it just added more to the poetry that I had. But I knew I had to find a resolve to it, you know. But yeah, I probably was at work when I wrote it, like started writing it.
Oh, I hope your boss not watching. Because, you know, don't Corona over, they're gonna be like, you was
not here. That's conflict of interest.
I hope you ain't invite no co-workers, you know, you got no kind of tell.
Well, I don't know.
well, let's hope that the poem, they felt the poem so much they don't say nothing. Okay,
right.
We just gonna pray and hope for that. Uninvited said video is as powerful of the poem, if not more.
Thank you, Uninvited. Appreciate it.
So man, let's get into the lyrics, man. We got 20 minutes, and if the people are hanging with us, I'll try to keep it for maybe about an extra half hour afterwards. Or you guys could tell me. I was saying we might need to have a part 2 to continue this. Yeah, man, because it's just that good. And I want to make sure that we're also able to definitely get through all these lyrics, because this lyrics is a lot. Like, we just gonna feature this. This needs to have its own segment. Like, so make sure that lyrics is up on the screen. All right.
There we go.
So, but we're gonna try to get this through. What you say? Even looking at the screen makes me nervous.
It's a lot.
All right. So tell me where we are safe. That's that beginning right there. Like, tell me where we are safe. Because when you think about it, there's and for those that watch the videos, it was the perfect intro to that opening. You know, pretty much. For those that haven't watched the video, again, go watch the video. Tell me where we are safe. If we ain't safe at the movie theater, and we ain't safe in a church, let alone the schools, then we ain't safe anywhere.
Nah.
because those are supposed to be untouched grounds. Like those are grounds, sacred grounds, if you say, places where at least back then people used to run to. That's where, pretty much that was the safe houses, like, because there was some type of reverence and respect for those houses. But now, like, pretty much like you said, you can't enjoy a movie in the movie theater safely. You're not safe in church, definitely not in school. If you can't be safe in those places, then you're not safe anywhere, because you never know who gonna open, aim, and shoot. I love the fact that you said that, because there's been a lot of talks of cops killing innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you said that, because we've also had numerous cases of people who are not there to quote unquote protect and serve, who don't have a blue outfit, who is not considered blue, pretty much, but is still considered white, taking matters into their own hands. So I love the fact that you say you never know who's going to open, aim, and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went into naming some of this could be the next. Wardell, help me out here. I've been reading. It's your turn.
I'm trying to get it up on my screen so I can see it. I'm a little old, so I can't see that little writing. Okay, I'm trying to get it up on the computer screen.
Can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead, James.
Mute his mic. Mute his mic. Mute his mic.
Yeah. James, I'm not sure what's going on, but I may just refresh your page or something, because I couldn't hear anything. I don't know if I'm the only one.
No,
once he comes back,
we couldn't hear.
Y'all couldn't hear. You just shared a link. What was that? Oh, so to the video.
To Felicia's YouTube page.
Video.
Thank you, bro, for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
All right, James, you were saying we couldn't hear nothing before. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. Yeah. What I like about that first line, if you notice, theater, church, schools, those are all places where a lot of people gather.
Mm.
So you feel safe amongst other people. That's what I love about that line. Like she's showing the contrast. You're not safe anywhere, even amongst a group of people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And she goes on to name, many of these names that some of us are definitely familiar with. Timothy McVeigh, James Holmes, Dylan Roof, Omar Martin, Stephen Paddock, Adam Lanza. Some of this some of us don't even know some of these names. Nicholas Cruz. And it says we can protest, we can riot about ending gun violence. They ain't listening though, they quiet. I compare this line immediately to the connect. I connect this directly to the line. You were kind of channeling the same thing that James had in his poem, talk about not pleading our cases anymore.
Right. Like we constantly have to fight. We constantly are saying something, but they're not listening. I mean, even now, a couple of weeks ago, we lost our brother, Ahmaud Arbery. And it just keeps happening. And I'm mad that we have to continue to add names and hashtags and all that. But yeah.
I said, I said they're not listening. Or doesn't, better yet, feel like they're listening. Mm-hmm. You said I don't see the silver lining. I felt like you you heard some people's argument like, oh, maybe it's doing something, you know, they listening, and you was like, well, I don't see the silver lining because not much has changed between now and 50 years ago. Because why is it we're still fighting the same battle Martin was fighting? Racism seems to be an ongoing crisis. But how can we fix it when we're supposed to stand united?
Right, united.
Tell me a little bit about that.
We're the United States of America, but we're not united because they're separating black from white, and that's pretty much it. You know, the ethnicities of the world, it's not treated fairly.
It's never been united.
Nope. We're not equal. Just like our brother James said.
So feel free to chime in. I'm definitely reading along. Uninvited said the divided states of America. That sounds like something you hear in an uninvited poem. The United Snakes of America. That's what he just said. It uninvited. I feel like just writing a poem right now with his comments.
Right. Just keep going, uninvited. We're all gonna get arrested. Just keep going, sir.
They're gonna start sending
a house against itself cannot stand. It surely will fall. Building walls that divides us, then they try to define us, label us without reading the fine print. Tell us, what is the fine print?
Basically, what God says about us. Don't nobody. A lot of people don't like to open the Word of God or the Bible to see who we are. So that's where I'm coming from with that.
So you're saying that now, do they need to read the fine? Okay, well, you said they're not reading the fine print, right?
Yeah, they're not reading the fine print.
But
or
are we? Are we reading the fine print?
That's another thing. We got to read the fine print about ourselves, just like you said, that we have to know that we're royalty. But when we don't read, we lack knowledge.
And it's interesting that you do bring that up, because many think, you know, when people think of the Bible, they don't think of it as something that would invoke or make us to feel or remind us that we're royalty. You know, many times it's being addressed like, you know, people are really against it because they feel like it's more against than for. So it's interesting that you consider that the fine print.
Yeah, I know some people that, you know, they might say like the white man wrote the Bible and they used it against us in slavery. Now that's a, you know,
that's theory.
Yeah, a wide subject to discuss, but yeah.
I'll try not to go too deep into it because that's a whole different conversation.
Exactly, right? A whole nother conversation.
That's a whole different conversation right there. But the fine print, and you know what? It's funny, and when you think about the fine print, it's I see it as them not looking deeper within.
That
you know, pretty much. That's when I read that. That's the first thing that goes into mind. You know, pretty much. And I feel like we've all been guilty of judgment from, you know, without looking within. You know, pretty much. Or if you see somebody that's got dreads with a bunch of tattoos, like we automatically put them in a certain category. You know, pretty much. And that person could be some of the sweetest persons ever. Like, you know, and you talk about not reading the fine print is like saying you don't know us.
Right.
Like, you know, it's saying you don't understand us and you don't take to, and it brings me back to, if anybody's seen Join the Lucas video that I posted on my Instagram a couple of days ago that I was going wild. That was talking about, it was like the conversation between a white man and a black man and it was talking about how both sides don't understand each other and they don't take the time to understand each other.
Yeah, that's true.
So this whole thing, you know, about the fine print is talking about, I feel like is addressing the fact that you don't know me.
That's exactly what it is.
And it takes knowing somebody to understand why they move the way they do. You know,
Exactly.
maybe I feel like rocking a hoodie today because my hair not right. You know, the hairline is missing out of place. You know, like rocking a.
True.
Maybe my hands is cold. You know, something.
Right. Right.
So,
I like that you saw that too.
Right.
Definitely two different aspects.
So I keep losing myself. I need to highlight this so I can stay up to where I stopped. Fine print that we are black royalty, yet you take James left. We're black royalty, yet you take killers to Burger King and treat them like your highness.
Right.
And they could kill dozens of people and leave the scene without even dying. That reality is kind of like, you know, just painful to like read and even think that. Like somebody could murder somebody, and are we talking about a specific situation here?
Yeah, Dylan Roof, who shot up the church and killed 9 people. How they they got him in the car safely, and then I guess he was hungry, and they took him to Burger King, and let it be the other way around, we wouldn't even be alive.
Right.
If you could take a killer to Burger King, why kill somebody who's unarmed and didn't kill anybody?
That's really crazy. And you're right. If it was a black man that shot a white man, they don't care about your hunger. You go straight under the cell, you know, you go straight somewhere to lock up. Like nobody care that you're hungry.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna be like, oh, you know what? Let me pull up right here, get you a burger. What number you want?
Right.
That's crazy. That's truly crazy. Your Highness, and they could kill dozens of people and leave the scene without even dying. But if we're driving while black and get pulled over for a tail light, we're the ones shot and murdered for reaching for our license. Then they swear up and down that we aren't abiding or being compliant. Like that justifies it. I love the fact that you said like that justifies it. Like, let's say that is the case. Let's say somebody wasn't compliant. How does that justify them losing their whole life for that?
Exactly.
Like that's not a good enough excuse. That's not acceptable, and that shouldn't be acceptable.
Right. Right. Exactly. Just like the whole Dylan Roof thing. I mean, they ain't kill him.
Right.
So.
And I'm sure we've seen numerous videos of, I would say, you know, white people acting up in front of police, and that never leads to somebody killing somebody or somebody dying.
Nope.
Where they been acting buck wild. Like there's so many videos that's gone. I can't even pinpoint one.
Right, exactly.
And nobody gets shot.
No one. They could spit in the cop's face and everything. Hit them with a bat. They'd be like, sure, no. Come on. We're here to arrest you. But they don't do nothing to them.
Then this white killer cops get off without being indicted. If you ask me, that's white privilege at its finest. I mean, that is. If you could definitely get away with something like that, and if you change the color of the man that did it,
it's a whole different story.
You know it's going to be a story.
Powerful stuff.
It's white privilege at its finest. And you know, when people talk about privilege, I don't think we need to really go too much into it. What do you say to those that you know argues that there's really no such thing?
Man, they're totally blinded. I mean, watch all these videos that are out, like the Ahmaud Arbery video. Just keep watching the different videos. Like the other day, the cops were in Jersey City, I think, or in New York, and because black people didn't have on masks, they're taking them and beating them. But just around the corner or a couple streets up, the white people get, you know, handed masks from the cops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Jersey City.
Different dynamic on how they treat us as opposed to, you know, the whites.
The whites.
Yeah, them whites.
The whites. I love it.
No, it's
I feel like the more we discuss this, the more like, you know, the more like this is very tough to take in. And, you know, because you paint the picture so vividly and like your words are so literal that it like, it just hits the bones and it just brings you back to just think about every situation. It kind of put a fear of the reality that we live in you. You know, pretty much. It said my mission is to give them hope, so I'm gonna give them hope, like McMill, just like McMill. It's a dog eat dog world. It's a either kill or be killed. How many of my brother and sister's blood is gonna be spilled on this so-called land of the free? That's what we was talking about, you know, pretty much. Not United States, not land of the free. Let's just be real. Rock Turner, a white man, raped an unconscious woman behind a dumpster, but how ironic y'all would bring up his swimming stats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, when that whole situation happened, I believe the judge dismissed or lowered his time to 3 months just because, oh, he's a good swimmer and he has things going on for him and going for him, so we're gonna excuse him actually raping a woman behind the dumpster. So yeah, that to me is crazy.
If that doesn't show,
that was injustice.
Yeah. That's not the system.
I don't even know what to say to that. Like, you know, I don't even know what to say to that. And I'm glad that you're bringing us to like any of this situation that took place, and you know, pretty much because there's so much of them, and there's so many that, you know, some know some, you know, we know the marketed, the big names, you know, and there's some that literally is just kind of like it wasn't as well. Like not everybody knows what happened. You understand what I mean? So this poem brings back up to some of the stories that could or might have been forgotten.
Right.
You know what? You know what I really like about this whole poem is that between your passion and while you're performing it and the lyrics, it takes you right to those moments, to the point where you feel the emotion of the moment. You feel how you feel while you're spitting it, and you feel how I felt while I was watching this go across the news. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's called spitting. Okay, that's what you call spitting. And you did a good job throughout this entire piece with that. Because I remember the first time I heard it live, I was getting pissed, I was crying, I was happy, I was like, it was all of the emotions that you pushed through the poem, I felt.
I'm thankful, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's the
I wanted to go out in March, like after I was done.
That's the
I wanted to go out in March.
You know, spruce up.
Go ahead, Felicia. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that's the purpose of the poem was to put some energy in us and get us to do something, get us to say something, do something. If we have to march, if we have to, do whatever it takes. Like in James' poem, he was saying, do whatever it takes to get this out.
Right.
Right.
Use your resources. Write a poem. Write a song, but don't lose focus on this.
Right.
This is pretty. I'll be honest. This is pretty heavy for me. Pretty much. So it's gonna be a little hard to get through this. As we go down, it say let's about the innocent. Let me see. Yeah, you're comparing now. Yeah, promising NFL star Brian Banks, right?
Yep.
Falsely accused of rape, but because he's black, y'all forced them to take a plea deal. Mm-hmm. I love how you compare that situation, and for the fact that this man also, like Brock Turner, also had a promising future, pretty much. The fact that, and at this point, his stats didn't matter.
Right. It did not.
Mm-hmm.
That's that white privilege again. And it's painful to know that, pretty much. And it's also a reminder for us to remind our kids for like the reality of the world that we live in, mm-hmm. that you can't just be acting wild like them. Because they're giving second chances, but you don't.
Right.
That's the reality of the time that we live in. Like, pretty much like it's not worth the risk to commit that crime. Exactly. Because everything else that you work for, like it's like telling it's painful to talk about this. It's like telling our kids you cannot afford to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm. The margin of error is
because you are a strange matter. You cannot afford to make a mistake. That is heavy.
That is
really heavy.
Especially now, I have a son.
You said innocent plea deal. Innocent black man did 5. Innocent black man did 5 years, but guilty white man got 3 months for the same crime. How is that fair? Okay, see our point on why Black Lives Matter, while Trump supporters scream out MAGA in 2019, but nothing ain't changed. It's just now caught on camera, and we need answers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very powerful 3 lines right there.
I don't know if
come back to us.
Are you yeah.
He's frozen.
Yeah.
Are we good?
So
am I still here?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I feel like I got disconnected for a while. I was like, James' poem was heavy, and yours is even heavier. And I'm just like, as somebody that I channel and I carry people's, problems, like literally on my shoulder, as I read something, like, pretty much I could I carry that pain with me. Like it hurts. Just being able to read this again, and sometimes it's a reminder that is needed, because sometimes we forget, pretty much what's everybody worried about now. I'll talk to everybody, man, when this corona gonna be over? Hey, did you get your stimulus check yet? This is our concerns. When is my business gonna be reopened? And I'm grateful for pieces like this that bring this back to the fact that, there's still a fight that still needs to be fought. Don't forget that. And as we're continuing with our daily lives, there's still something that needs to be fought for. Even as people are still able to go around and wear hats that says MAGA on it.
Right.
Which is a direct smack in our face, a direct smack in the face of our leaders, those that died for us, and a smack in the face of those of Malcolm X, MLK. That movement is a smack in the face for them.
Right. Exactly.
Felicia, with your permission, I really think that I want to end this segment on this note.
Okay.
And possibly have continue this like during the next show and have you back as a guest. You know, I'm sure you have to definitely check your schedule. But I really want to take our time on this. I don't want to feel like we're rushing through this. It's about 9 minutes after 8 right now. Wardell, I don't know what you think about that.
No, I think that's good because it's going to take a minute to unpack this. It's so much in it. Like, and I'm not talking about the length of it. I'm talking about the passion in it. Like, it's so much. And honestly, like you said, Felicia, you said so much in that first. I don't know if that's called the stanza or not, but that first part right there, that's a whole poem in and of itself. and it seems like just the intro to the rest of what you have to say. But even in that, it's a whole poem in and of itself. You said a lot in there, a lot of passion in there. So yeah, it's gonna take us a minute to unpack, but I think we probably should look at coming back on, and if it's okay with you, and
that is fine with
go
me.
from there,
That's fine. No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
To unpack, so I don't mind at all.
I know there was passion, you know, pretty much. Throw out some words to it that you were of emotions you were going through as you were writing this.
Man, anger. That's the first word. Anger. And not to lie, we're human. So the first emotion the second emotion beside anger might have been hate, to be honest. Because we're humans. And then that's something that, you know, we have to ultimately kill, that type of vibe, the hateful vibe, because that's what they're using as venom, and we cannot use the same tool they're using to distinguish the fire, you know, or extinguish, sorry, that's the word, extinguish the fire. Yeah, those two words were the first, you know, that I felt.
And as we're sitting here, as I'm sitting here reading this, I connect with those feelings. And if I could add to it, I'm very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm reading, I'm very uncomfortable. It makes me, it's not uncomfortable like I don't want to be here, but it's hard to face this. It's hard to face this reality. It's hard to sit here and talk about this. You know, as I think about my beautiful daughter who's gonna be turning 1 next week, like it's hard to like think about this. Like it really is for me. When I think about my beautiful 8 years old daughter that doesn't understand any of this yet.
Right.
It doesn't have a full understanding. It's really hard to swallow the reality of us. Things that's happening to us just because of what we look like, and just because some people didn't read the fine lines.
And to your point, bro, what's even further difficult to fathom is that we all have kids. Mine are probably older than all of y'all, but we all have kids who are going to live in this world. And right now, we got you writing pieces like this. Can you imagine how it's going to be 10 years from now? if Jesus don't come back or if something don't happen. You know what I mean? So it's I feel you, bro. It's tough, and you know I talk to my boys all the time. Like, listen, you got to be careful when you go out there in these streets. They're not for you. They're against you. And if you have that thought process, you have that mentality, you'll know how to handle it. You know what I mean? But I can't guarantee they're going to come home.
Mm.
I can't guarantee them that I'm going to come home.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's tough.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's sad that we're going through a pandemic. We supposed to be staying at home or whatever, and we still getting killed.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. I don't know if y'all seen the video, and you know, pretty much I didn't fact check it, but you know, apparently there was a nurse that her video was going around that was talking about how black sick COVID patients were being treated in New York City as opposed to whites, you know, pretty much, and how some are not even getting proper care and they're just being allowed to die.
Mm.
Like, you know, like because there's not enough help. So you turn to help this one before you help this one. Like literally you made the mental decision to let this one die.
Mm.
It was like, this was a video that was going viral that I saw on Instagram, and she was breaking down, crying to like, it's really sad. Like, you know, pretty much. And what it was that also caught my attention was she wasn't a black person. She was just a person that felt for people.
Mm. Mm.
And just didn't think it was right. So like, even at times like this, we're still affected.
Mm-hmm.
Even in, you know, and not to take this off topic, I was talking, actually me and Wardell was talking the other day, and I was like, even in some of this constitutions and things that are written up, that is written to not really help certain people that falls into certain groups of the population. We're talking, you guys know I have business, and I was like, it was interesting. I was excited to find out as a business owner that the government had help out there, right? You know, for businesses during this period, but it was to find out, number one, you had to be in business for a certain period of time to qualify for one, which is the emergency fund, which there's numerous small businesses that don't qualify. Small businesses that's mostly owned by black people, right? And then we talked about the PPP, and the PPP, you don't qualify if you didn't make a profit the prior year, which again falls underneath the majority of minorities and African Americans. So like, this is not just in the streets. Like, we're being murdered and killed in many other ways, in industries, in business.
Mm-hmm.
Yet taxes from small businesses is really what helps the economy. Like, it's really crazy when you really think about how it's not just with a gun that they're killing us. There's numerous ways, like how certain things are written when they sat down and made sure how this was going to work. If this ever happened, emergency fund or whatever, they knew there were groups, and thankful. And this is what I'm so happy about, which is why we shouldn't give up the fight. I'm thankful and grateful for people like Magic Johnson. That's what Wardell sent me the other day, right? That's rising up to say, we're going to do something to help small black-owned businesses. People like Puff Daddy, P. Diddy partnered up to start something, a website that you can go into. You know, even some local municipalities. I know Newark, city of Newark, raised some funds privately to help small businesses. Some private fundraisings that they did to help some small businesses, because they know, and this is why I feel like we need to empower the right people that's gonna understand when it comes to time like this, they're gonna fight for us, not just, you know, pretty much. We need more than people. We need more more people that's not just gonna be worried about, I'm gonna just get on the versus fight, versus, thing. Like, but people that's gonna be active and want to do more, because there's a lot more in our community that needs to be done.
Let's talk about the 1.6 million that the wealthy got as a. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because that was built for them to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they said that that first round of loans that they sent out were gobbled up by big business.
Yeah.
But it was for small business, but it was gobbled up by the larger percentage or the larger portion of the small businesses. So I guess people businesses who have 500 or more employees gobbled up all of the money, and people that had 20 or less employees didn't get any. And so we all know that who owns those companies.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So changes need to take place. And that's why I would tell people that we need more representation in politics. We need more representation in poetry. We need more representation in various aspects. People that's going to get into helping change the Constitution. We need more people to know that they can be president. Shout out to Obama for putting some hope in some young person out there that this is possible for you to definitely be focused on that. We need more. I know some people not big fans of, but he's still one of us. Cory Booker's in the world. Pretty much we need more of us to be in positions where we need more of them to be empowered for change.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say this, that we all love music, and we all know the power of music. We can't let just anybody become musicians. In 2019 are leaders in our community, and we can't just let everybody, just because they got talent, become a leader in our community.
Yeah. Read.
Or you have other Kanyes. I said, or you have other Kanyes. Sitting there in the president's.
Who was it the other day that they said he admitted to getting hoes for his teenage son that was 13? Y'all didn't see that?
Wait.
He admitted, I forgot who it was. Y'all better go look into this. As one of the rappers admitted that he got his son and his friends ready, meaning that he paid somebody, a grown woman, to give his son head.
Oh wow, that's
which is statutory rape. That
is,
and endangerment of a child, literally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Boosie.
Who? Gucci?
No,
Boosie. That's his name, Boosie.
Oh wow, him.
Okay. For his teenage, I think his son is what, 13? What?
14.
And he said since 12, something like that.
Wow.
And I was like, there's other people that we chose by purchasing their music, putting on such platforms to be leaders in our community. I mean, I'm not saying we can get it all right, but these are things that we as a community need to think about.
Yeah.
But this is why we support artists like Felynz and James Ellerbe. They're putting out good content, putting out content that's going to change the world. You know what I mean? Putting out content that is challenging us and also at the same time putting us on the pedestal. Like we have talent, we have artistry, we have creativity that needs to be heard. So this is what the show is about, Into the Lyrics, about putting you guys out there, as best as we can on our platform.
And we are I really appreciate that. Thank you, bro.
And my prayer is that hopefully we can grow this platform to be a bigger platform so that we can have more people witness things like this so they can think about their actions and what it is that they're doing. So in light of what you just said, Wardell, and I thank you guys as artists for willing to come on and share yourselves. And I thank the supporters, those that have been continuously supporting us, those that have been holding us down at the CryOut Cave as well as the Heart Ballroom. Thank you, guys, because you allow us, give us the opportunity to be able to continue and do this. I so love the community that I'm in. I see so much positivity in it. For those that may not connect with me or know me on Facebook, I even put out there, it's not been an easy time for my business, but people have been very supportive, and I've been able to raise a good amount of people that's just donating money just to kind of help my business stay alive. And that means more than enough. And that's why, and that's giving us strength to keep going, opportunity to keep going and grow that platform even bigger. And, we owe it to them to definitely keep fighting, like he said in James' poem, never giving up, using every bit of resources that we have. And this is the resource I have access to. And again, thank you to everybody that shared, that created a watch party. And hopefully people continue to tune in, and we continue to grow this bigger.
Yes.
Absolutely. We all we got.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Got to support each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring this to a closing. I mean, it's been, we have a lot of fun, guys, on here when we have Into the Lyrics. We never know what direction the poems is gonna take us. Fortunately, I'm not gonna say unfortunately. Fortunately, today is something that's a little bit more on the heavy side, is more on the emotional side, but it's definitely a needed side of us that we needed to discuss and look over. So I hope you guys are able to join us. The next segment that I'll be having for Into the Lyrics will be Monday. This Friday, there will not be any segment. I will be featuring in a showcase that's being organized by Express Newark. That myself, Mia X, Sean Battle, a few other of their MFA students are also going to be performing. So I hope you guys tune in. So I will not be having my show Into the Lyrics this Friday because of that show that I'll be on. But Monday, I hope to continue this. Felicia, you better not make me cry on the air, because we gonna fight. Pretty much. I'm gonna just turn off my camera, pretty much, because this was making me a little bit emotional. I have to admit,
Need it.
That's all right, bro. Let the tears fall. It'll make your skin sexy for next year.
Nah, that's why I drink water. That's why I drink water.
You wildin', man.
This is all I'm gonna do. If I see something drop, I'm gonna just be like, "Ooh, I'm hot," and just throw the water on my face. I'm like, "Woo."
Bro.
I just want to shout out real quick Evan Spaldwin, who shot the video. I didn't want to miss him out. And Miss Gina King Wilkins. Just want to shout them out because, they really helped to push this poem.
Felicia, tell them how they can connect with you. Instagram, website, YouTube, all of that stuff. Cash App, all of that.
Well, you could subscribe to my YouTube, Felynz. And then you can find me on Instagram at Felynz86, which is on the bottom of the screen. And hit me up, if you have any questions, anything, hit me up, follow me. I'll follow you back.
All right, that's what it is. Thank you for coming on, and I look forward to continuing this conversation with you on Monday. And then we'll be able to get fully through it.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm not going to book nobody else for Monday. It's just going to be me, you. If Wardell can join us, we're going to sit down. We're going to get to the bottom of this. James, you're invited if you're able to. I know you probably got to work, But if you're able to and want to join us back for the conversation, I would definitely love to have you.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, I definitely I want to hear some more of this because there's a lot in there and a lot that I need. Yeah, I'll be here.
All right. And Waddell has on his screen right now the show going on this Friday. It's called the Poets Express Newark Instagram Live Takeover. That's the show that I'm performing for this Friday. I think it starts at 6 o'clock. It's going to be on Instagram. So join us. 6 p.m. Right. So again, if you're not, all you gotta do is just follow me on Instagram at Real Godsent. You can definitely watch it through my live at Real Godsent, RealGodsent. It's gonna be fun on May 22nd. Let's have fun. In addition to that, any poets that's watching, I'll be posting this on my status later. There's a meeting that we're actually gonna be having. As I had a conversation this morning with a couple of Newark poets as we're beginning to work on forming Newark Poetry Council. Pretty much, again, a status led to a status that inspired me to put this out. And, it's something that's needed. So we're definitely going to be doing this. So if you definitely want to be part of that or help us push it or bring your resources to the table, just inbox me and I'll be able to share the information of the meeting and everything with you. All right.
Awesome.
Definitely.
This has been Into the Lyrics, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, James Ellerbe. It was definitely nice having you.
Thank you.
And Felicia, thank you for having you. Thank you for joining us. All right. Thank you guys for continuously supporting us. Again, my name is Godsent. My information is below. Anything else that you definitely, if you have questions, have recommendations of anybody that you want to see on this show, just inbox me or email me at realgodsent@gmail.com. Again, thank you guys for sticking with us. Y'all have a blessed night. Until next time. Peace. Oh, one last thing, njpoetryevents.com, njpoetryevents.com. That's where you find out all the events that's going on in New Jersey. That's calendars managed by James Ellerbe, who was just on our show tonight. So thank you for reminding me that. Peace. For real. Bye. Y'all have a good night.